course. Of course, we are supposed to be joined by the Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, which by all means is the face of the presidency as far as this event is concerned. And we have, representing the Honorable Minister, the Director General of National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, in the person of Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi. She is representing the Honorable Minister. Please a round of applause for her. We also have with us quite a number of people. As you can see, seated in the front, we have Mr. Daudu Mohammed Bagari. He is Deputy Controller of Immigration, Refugee. He is, of course, representing the Nigeria Immigration Service. You're welcome, sir. We also have already seated in the front, Jason Kuria. I hope I got that surname right. Thank you very much, sir. He is the political officer representing the United States Embassy here in Abuja. Welcome, sir. Of course, also rightly seated, we have Professor Chinwe Awunobi. She is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Library. Please, you are welcome, madam. We also have Professor Ike Odimegu. He is the Director, Center for Migration Studies. He is here representing the Vice Chancellor of Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Please, you are welcome, sir. And the Vice Chancellor of Nnamdi Azikiwe University is Professor Charles Ezimone. Right? Thank you very much. You are welcome once again, sir. Also, seated with us here is Ojoma Ali. He is the Program Officer of the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. Please, a round of applause. In the history of CSO NetMade, SDC can never ever be forgotten, but with the role they have played. So please, once again, a round of applause for the representative of SDC. We also have Mr. Joseph Sanwo, who is the head of programs, FIIA/ATPSOM. I'm sure he'll have an opportunity to let us know what all of this stand for, but you are very much welcome, sir. We also have Elizabeth Pogen, who is the National Project Officer, Labor, Migration and Diaspora, IOM. That is International Organization for Migration. Welcome, madam. Thank you very much. We also have with us Eleni Zaze Lidon. Please pardon me. She is the International Aid. She is of the International Aid Cooperation Officer. Madam, you are welcome. Thank you. All right, I think we will do other recognitions in due course so that we don't get bored with the recognitions, because we believe that every single person in this hall is very, very important. And on that note, I urge you once again to put your hands together for yourself. Don't be tired of clapping. I was told by a medical doctor that clapping has the potential to increase your lifespan by at least 5 years. So please. Okay, sorry. The last person I called, Eleni, is representing the EU. Please pardon me. Clap, clap, clap. The more you clap, you know, we are in Hamatan already today. Clapping has the potential of warming up your body. So please, when I say clap, don't look at my height, don't look at my age. Cooperate and clap. Very swiftly, as we say, we are going to be moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is to call on stage the man I call the gentle father. And he is, of course, the brain behind most of the activities that we have carried out at CSO NetMate. He is the National Coordinator of Civil Society's Network on Migration and Development. I therefore call on Dr. Chris Emeka Obezu. Please a round of applause for his own welcome address.
Thank you, Usman. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. I am delighted to welcome all of you to this event, the day one of the 2021 National Migration Dialogue, featuring the Civil Society Day, hosted by CSO NetMate and National Commission for Refugee, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons, with the support of Organization for Migration, Center for Migration Studies, Nanda University, United Bank for Africa, and Nigerian Television Authority. What we are doing today is a great milestone in all dimensions of substance and process. Civil society would have such self-organizing space within an institutional framework to shape their discussion on the subject matter of substance of national discourse is indeed an achievement. This is what we have always wished. It means the government is taking us seriously. The process of organizing this event, the co-hosting between the government and civil society, unimaginable support of partners is even more monumental. This speaks volume of partnership and collaboration, demonstrative of the whole of government, whole of society approach, driving the new way of working. We are grateful to the Nigerian Migration Governance System under the able coordination of NCFRI for providing us this platform. NCFRI is our commission, and together we shall deliver. We salute the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation for emboldening us by building our capacity and trusting our judgment in this regard. We thank IOM immensely for discovering the significance of the initiative the very first time we noted the idea, and for going all the way, exhausting all in their arsenal of negotiation to pull in the interest and the funding support of our major funders today. We thank the European Union. We thank their implementing partner FIAB. And we owe a great deal to CMS Nayu for joining with us all the way. To all the partners of Nigerian Migration Governance, you must go back home at the end of the day. Do yourself a part on the creating the Nigerian Migration Governance, a lasting legacy. We have for the first time tapped on the local support of the private sector to promote migration agenda. Experimenting thoughts that have lacked somewhere within us of giving our private sector opportunity to play their role in the national migration governance. We see in your coming out a glimpse of hope that we will one day own our migration programs. To us, CSOs, we have arrived at that place. We said, we do not need to tell the world anymore that we have got there. We are here. We are here today to tell the world what we got. Again, I say, we are here now. Everyone is watching to see what we will come up with, what we will do with this space. But we know we are here now. We must seize this opportunity by engaging ourselves critically in the frontiers of all existence, who we are, how we organize, what we deal with. We must continue to engage in programs that help better the conditions of our migrants. But we must more assiduously ensure that these programs that lead to ensuring the liftment of problems are also taken care of by going to the first place of asking the question, but why the problem? We are not government. We are not donor agencies. We are civil society, the voice and the face of the people. Our agency comes from our constituency, the people. Therefore, we have no other business than to stand up for them. We must be systematic. We must be strategic. We must be more intentional in supporting the government and the partners in delivering their goals and programs and policies. At the same time, we must not compromise to hold them accountable to ensure their actions are always people-oriented. For many times, they don't see what we see. They don't hear what we hear. We are united for a voluntary, safe, and dignified migration. So bonded, we will remain until every human person is able to exercise their right to mobility without pressure or fear. Once again, I say welcome and thank you. CSOs,
That applause is not enough for the national coordinator, please. Thank you very much. And very swiftly, we will be inviting the next person for a welcome address. But before then, I forgot to, of course, recognize the chairman or chairperson, if you like, of today's event in the person of Ms. Osato Mary Ignoson. Please, a round of applause for her. That means that she's also been the brain behind putting all of this together for some weeks now. Ladies and gentlemen, we will also now be listening to a welcome address by the Honorable Federal Commissioner, NCFRMI, or the representative, please. Please, a round of applause for him. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Standing on the protocol, my name is Mudakai Titus, Acting Deputy Director, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. I am standing in for the Honorable Federal Commissioner, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, who is unavoidably absent, and she sincerely sends her apology. Maybe by the time, maybe in the midway, she may join us in our exercise here today. She asked me to read her speech, which I'm going to do as follows. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the first day of National Migration Dialogue celebration for year 2021. As you are aware, on 4th December 2000, the United Nations General Assembly, taking into account the large and increasing number of migrants in the world, proclaimed
18 December as International Migrants Day. The day was selected to mark the anniversary of 1990 adoption by the United Nations General Assembly of the International Convention on the Protection of the Rights of all migrant workers and members of their families. This is an occasion which affords us room to acknowledge and express gratitude to migrants for their significant contribution to socio-economic and cultural development in Nigeria and globally. This event also affords an important step by offering a rallying point for all those concerned with the protections of migrants. The United Nations invited all United Nations member states, such as Nigeria, intergovernmental and non-governmental organizations, to observe this day by disseminating information on human rights and fundamental freedom of migrants, sharing experiences, and undertaking action to ensure the protections of migrants. Nigeria, as a country of origin, transit, and destination for migrants, as through the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons established the National Migration Dialogue in 2014 to mark the annual Global International Migrants Day, using a multi-stakeholder approach. The Commission and the civil society organization are collaborating to host this year 2021 National Migration Dialogue. The Commission and the Civil Society Network for Migration Development, CSONet, therefore, use this opportunity to recognize the contribution made by millions of migrants to the economies of their host and home country, and to further promote respect for their basic human rights. The dialogue will further bring together a critical mass of important stakeholders to take a more closely look at the country's migration dynamics relative to international migration best practices. The key objective of the 2021 National Migration Dialogue are to facilitate constructive dialogue on migration, plan for the migration year 2022, and to map out sustainability plan for migration activities in Nigeria and promote resilient migration governance in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, this year International Migrants Day celebration and National Migration Dialogue is a departure from previous year's celebration. This time, the Commission is working in close collaboration with the Civil Society Organization Network for Migration Development. The Commission is persuaded that civil society organizations are critical partners in the Nigerian migration governance framework due to their participation at the grassroots level, their support for migration policy development and execution, and the impact they made in implementation of migration activities. Accordingly, Day 1 of the 2021 National Migration Dialogue is dedicated and tagged the Civil Society Day. The theme for the Day 1 Civil Society Day Dialogue focuses on strategies for the sustainability of migration program in Nigeria. It provides a veritable platform for civil society organizations to deepen the dialogue by engaging with and probing the sustainability of migration program in Nigeria. Our gathering today will include engagements to explore the viability of Nigerian migration program for national development, bringing together civil society organizations working on different aspects of migration in Nigeria to engage in much needed and in-depth conversation about various ways for maintaining the sustainability of migration program in the country for national development. On day 2 of this celebration, the theme is mobility in the context of sustainable national development. This points to the fact that migrants constitute
a formidable and tremendous socio-economic growth engine. There are around 281 million migrants worldwide as at 2020, accounting for approximately 3% of the global population and 10% of global gross domestic output. In fact, according to World Bank data, Nigeria in the diaspora emitted 65.34 billion euro in 3 years to Nigeria to boost economic activities. That is 24.31 billion in 2018, 23.81 billion in 2019, and 17.21 billion naira in 2020. The outcome of the two activities will be presented to common space, consisting of both government and international organizations for consideration in the form of concrete and sustainable recommendations. This will foster cooperation in order to accomplish the Sustainable Development Goals and Global Compact for safe, orderly, and regular migration stated objectives, as well as to strengthen Nigerian National Migration Management System. This buttresses the fact that the key to success for any strategy rests largely with its planning and implementation, but most importantly, in effective collaboration. At this juncture, permit me to reiterate that the migration management in Nigeria adopts a whole of government and whole of society approach. As a result, we can now stand up and proudly proclaim that we have a powerful civil society organization platform capable of keeping the ball rolling on issues pertaining to national migration management. We are pleased with the work of civil society organization in the migration space, and the Commission will continue to support all your efforts to ensure improved migration management in Nigeria, particularly in the areas of return, readmission, resettlement, and reintegration. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, at this juncture, I will respectfully use this forum to once again recognize and appreciate the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, for his unflinching support for strengthening our humanitarian policy and interventionist response program and project particularly in the interest of all persons of concern and the nation at large. I also wish to recognize and applaud my Honorable Minister, Hajiya Sadiya Umar Farouk, for her vision, leadership, stewardship, dedication, guidance, and excellent coordination effort of the humanitarian sector that is yielding life-changing results, especially for rendering protection and assistance to vulnerable and our persons of concern. I will not forget to acknowledge and appreciate the invaluable financial and technical support of key migration partners, such as the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, the International Organization for Migration, the European Union, for their initiative for migrants protection and reintegration in Nigeria, the International Labour Organization, and other international and local partners. We look forward to more of such robust collaboration and support in the overall interest of efficient and effective migration management in Nigeria. I also gladly acknowledge the key role being played by members of the fourth estate of the realm, that is, the journalists and media professionals, in raising awareness and bringing to the front burner the plights of migrants and migration matters at the national and global space. I Assuredly, the media will continue to be our indispensable partners in progress. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention, and I wish you all a successful and fruitful deliberation at this Civil Society Day of the 2021 National Migration Dialogue. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you very much, sir. And that was the address from the Honorable Commissioner of NCFR-MI. If there is anything that I took away from there, towards the end, he said the Commission will continue to support all activities of civil society organizations in the migration space. Please, a round of applause for that very commitment, because it is all that we need. Ladies and gentlemen, next will be goodwill messages. But before then, if I look at all of us and call us ants, if I say all of us are ants, I'm sure we may be lost. There are people who will even say, God forbid, I'm not an ant. But the reason why we are all ants in this hall that I know is, I come from a very small village in Niger State. So one evening, the story is very short, don't worry. I was just, looking around, and then I noticed an ant which came out from its hole. And of course, just somewhere in the front, there was a big dead cockroach. And for all those who know, a dead cockroach especially, is a very delicious meal to ants. And of course, the ants was joyful because I could see how it was flapping and all of that. It tried, it would go here, kept going around the dead cockroach. It couldn't do anything. Then after a while, it disappeared. And then it came back. But it didn't come back alone this time around. It came with a whole army of ants. And before you could say Jack Robinson, carefully and clinically, they dismembered this cockroach. And everyone went away happily. That is the beauty of a network where all of us, in our different endeavors as CSOs, in the migration space, we all have one agenda, one goal, but we are working in different directions. And then we have now decided to come together. You will discover that you will work farther and better when you work with others. Please, another round of applause for ourselves. Now, in the speech of the Honorable Commissioner, we talked about today being the day one of the National Migration Dialogue. This is the first of its kind. And what it means is that the voices of civil societies are now being heard beyond where we thought we were in the years past. So for us to be recognized and be given a whole day to be part and parcel of the National Migration Day, for me, I think it's a huge achievement that we must celebrate. So please, if you are a member of civil society seated in this hall, look at your neighbor and say congratulations. Please, a handshake. No, please don't shake hands. Just bump. We are in very interesting times. It's a very huge achievement, and we must continue to celebrate ourselves because it's been one very difficult step at a time that has taken us this far. May we continue to work together, and may we all be Liverpool fans that we will never walk alone. On that note, I will be inviting for a goodwill message the International Aid / Cooperation Officer of the EU delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS in the person of Eleni Zerzelidon. And I hope I got the name again correctly. Please, when you come, help us pronounce the name so that I don't make the mistake again. Please, a round of applause for the EU representative to Nigeria and ECOWAS.
It's Zerzelido, actually, but I don't blame you. Difficult Greek names, so.
Thank you very much.
Well, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to stand on the existing protocol. I'm very pleased to be here with you today on the occasion of the 2021 National Migration Dialogue for Nigeria, which we always combine with International Migrants Day, celebrated the day after. Let me start by stressing that migration and mobility are an integral part of human nature. In this regard, human mobility has become a fact of life and crucial to achieving the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. In the year 2020, the world has experienced an unprecedented halt to mobility imposed by the pandemic. Last year, for instance, the world celebrated the International Migrants Day in an immobile way without marches. Moreover, the environment in which signatory states have to operate in order to deliver on their commitments under the global compacts for migrants and refugees has changed dramatically. Given that the compacts have not been drafted in order to respond to world crisis, countries around the world must respond to new challenges brought by the pandemic by relying on their own sources to find a way forward on migration and displacement management. Hence, the EU is welcoming today the initiative of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons and the Civil Society Network of Migration Development to dedicate this year's National Migration Dialogue on exploring strategies and actions to deepen the understanding of the implications of the pandemic for human mobility and find a sustainable way forward. We are also pleased to see that the event is combined with International Migrants Day, celebrated worldwide on the 18th of December. Access for migrants to basic services and health, job loss due to the pandemic, as well as expected drops in the remittances are all issues that need to be tackled in a wider discussion that would have otherwise taken place in the framework of the revision of the national migration policy. We all recognize that the pandemic has exacerbated our actions on migration management and that it has been a very difficult year for international migration governance, health governance, as well as free movement worldwide. The EU takes note of all the progress made and the resilience that the country has shown during the pandemic and compliments Nigeria on its efforts and resilience during these hectic times. However, there is more to do and we are willing to play our part by strengthening migration governance structures and in particular mechanisms such as the National Migration Dialogue. Our commitment is shown through the financial support provided this year, which is joint, encompassing support through two different projects, namely the Agents for Citizens Transformation Project, which is focusing on civil society engagement, as well as the 11th EDF Action Against Trafficking in Persons and Smuggling of Migrants. I would not like to forget the EU IOM Joint Initiative, which is actually the framework that we use every year in order to facilitate this event. At this point, I would like to thank the Ministry of Human Affairs for their role in migration governance in Nigeria, as well as NCFIMI in particular. I would like to thank NAPTIP at NIS for their commitment to migration management. I would like to thank civil society, all stakeholders involved, 9 ministries, as well as all those individuals that make this event shine every year, and this year in particular. I would also like to thank FIAP and IOM, my long-standing partners, and all the people that have worked toward these two events. At this point, I would also like to say that we decided to dedicate this year's events to the loving memory of our friend and partner Jennifer Ero, who would have liked to be with us here today. I'm sure that she sees us from somewhere there, and let's make this a success because she always had comments on everything. So, you don't want Jennifer to mess with you. So I'm really pleased that we make this happen. And dear Jenny, we all miss you. So I hope this year's discussion will continue to guide Nigeria on its way forward to migration management and protection of migrants amidst the pandemic, and that we can make actually the most out of this year's theme. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you all a fruitful and constructive dialogue.
Please, another round of applause. It's actually quite emotional to remember those who been struggling together with And today, instead of having them here with us, they are no more. May their departed souls rest in peace, and may their own demise continue to remind us all that one day we shall also be spoken of in like manner. The next goodwill message will be from IOM, and it's going to be delivered by Elizabeth Porgy. She is the National Project Officer, Labor, Migration and Diaspora, IOM. Please, you're welcome, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Please permit me to stand on existing protocol. My name is Elizabeth, as you mentioned, Elizabeth Porgy. I'm here representing the Chief of Mission IOM, the person of Mr. Franz Celestin, who is presently out of the country. So the next voice you'll be hearing will be that of Mr. Franz Celestin. Thank you. It is a great honor to deliver this goodness will message on behalf of the International Organization for Migration, IOM, at the annual National Migration Dialogue in commemoration of the 2021 International Migrants Day. I would like to thank the Civil Society Network on Migration and Development and the National Commission for Refugee, Migrant and Internally Displaced Persons for organizing this year's dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen, migration has been and will continue to be an important feature of our world. In 2020, the number of international migrants worldwide was estimated at 281 million, up from 272 million persons in 2019. This represents around 3.6% of the world population. Most of these migrants left their home country to escape conflict, persecution, or natural man-made disasters, while others are members of the families of migrant workers. But the common denominator is that they all took risks with the hope of a better future, and many of them have lost their lives in the process of fulfilling their migration aspiration. Migrants are key actors across all dimensions of sustainable development, as they contribute their knowledge, networks, and skills to build stronger, more resilient communities. Despite the economic turndown by the current pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, Nigeria received $17.2 billion in remittance in 2020. It counts among the largest remittance receiver in Africa. Through their works, remittances and the link they build between countries, migrants have reduced poverty, provide vital services, and support families and communities in countries of origin, transit, and destination. With COVID-19 pandemic, we all realize the pivotal role of migrants in weathering the pandemic. Migrants have been on the forefront, taking care of the sick, providing the essentials for all of us who were asked to restrict our movement to the minimum. I will continue to dedicate the International Migrant Day to remember all migrants who departed this world while seeking a better future for themselves, and raise awareness among all stakeholders that much can be done to avoid strategies and tragedies associated with migration. Migration can be made a story of hope, future, and improvement rather than tragedy and death. That is the reason these individuals will remain at the center of IOM campaigns. IOM is committed to the principle that humane and orderly migration benefit the migrants and the entire society, and has been supporting the efforts of the government of Nigeria to manage migration through capacity building, advisory services, and technical assistance on migration matters, including migration health and information, assisted voluntary return, counter-trafficking since the year 2001. IAM intervention focus on protection and support services for migrants and their families by fostering the synergies between migration and development, while promoting legal avenues for regular migration as an alternative to irregular migration. Ladies and gentlemen, migrants, particularly those in irregular situations, adolescents and youths, are particularly vulnerable to exploitation and abuse. Human trafficking and migrant smuggling add a further layer of complexity to the challenge of upholding the rights of migrants. Many Nigerian migrants are stranded in Libya and other countries, living in terrible conditions and desirous of the opportunity to return home. IAM, with the support of the European Union, has assisted the voluntary return of about 24,000 stranded Nigerian migrants from Libya. It is against this background that on this National Migration Dialogue, in commemoration of the International Migrants Day, we reiterate the fundamental right to freedom of movement as enshrined in Article 13 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as the contribution of migrants to both countries of origin and destination depend crucially on whether their human rights are safeguarded and protected from discrimination. Ladies and gentlemen, IAM believes that civil society organizations have a huge role to play in ensuring compliance with the implementation of migration policies and ensuring that migration agenda reflects existing international legal standards for the protection of migrants, refugees, and internally displaced persons. The Global Compact for Migration, adopted in December 2018, considers civil society organizations as full partners for the achievement of a safe, orderly, and regular migration at regional, global, and national level. Civil society, therefore, has a huge role to play in ensuring the establishment of effective mechanisms for the protection of migrants in Nigeria and Nigerian migrants living abroad, irrespective of their migratory status, in line with international policies and conventions as recommended by the National Migration Policy and the National Policy on Labor Migration. The institutionalization of this instrument will help in reinforcing the current paradigm shift in migrant well-being, which is a necessary condition in sustaining the much desired migration development nexus, which is in line with the theme of this year's International Migrants Day, themed Human Mobility in the Context of Sustainable Development. On this day, I would like to appreciate the European Union, the Swiss Development Corporations, and other development partners for their generous financial contribution towards tackling the challenges of migration in Nigeria. I would also like to appreciate the National Commission for Refugee, Migrant, and Internally Displaced Persons and all other relevant stakeholders that have been collaborating with us to ensure effective management of migration in Nigeria. Once again, IAM pledges its continuous commitment to support the government of Nigeria to effectively manage migration in order to harness its developmental benefits for sustainable national development, and also call on concerned state and non-state actors to do same. I wish you all the best in your deliberation. Thank you for your attention.
Please, another round of applause for IOM. Before I call on the representative of SDC, that is Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, for their goodwill message, I would like to recognize the co-chair of today's event, Mr. Osita Osemene. Please, Mr. Osita. Thank you very much, sir. For those who are just joining us online, and for those who are here and are still wondering why we are here, today is the day one of the National Migration Dialogue, and it's the day for civil societies in the migration space in Nigeria to come together, of course, rub minds and harmonize positions in preparation for the day 2 of the National Migration Dialogue. I'll now call on Ojoma Ali, who is the Program Officer, Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, for SDC's Goodwill Message. You're welcome, madam.
In the face of all you eminent people, permit me to stand on existing protocols. My name is Ojoma Ali, and I am delighted to represent the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation in this important meeting which CSONet made has invited Switzerland to attend as financial and technical partner of the national project strengthening civil society participation in national migration governance in Nigeria. Early this year, Switzerland and Nigeria celebrated the 10th anniversary of the migration partnership between both our countries. And over the years, Switzerland has progressively strengthened its involvement in Nigeria through contributions to various development projects and continues to show interest in expanding its engagement with different actors, state and non-state actors, to support migration policies in Nigeria. CSONet Made is one of those actors, and together we have made significant qualitative and quantitative progress. The expansion of the network is a real success. It is present in all 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, thus facilitating an inclusive migration dialogue even at the local level. In the course of this partnership between SDC and CSONet Made, the network has grown from 43 to 178 members. This is an increase of more than 400% in the network's membership, and all of this has happened in 15 months. It is an impressive result and shows its capacity to mobilize this important multi-stakeholders meeting in the view of the National Migration Dialogue. This new, excellent, and very welcome CSONet Made initiative around the National Migration Dialogue is evidence of the network's maturity in seeking to positively influence migration governance at the federal level. I am delighted that civil society, through CSONet Made, has initiated this open and transparent dialogue with the Nigerian authorities. It encourages us to cultivate an inclusive, collaborative environment between the different stakeholders. We thank the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, and of course, by extension, the NCFRMI, for their commitment to CSONet Made members. In closing, let me say that Switzerland invites technical and financial partners to support the actions of the network so that the voice of civil society can be heard and taken into account in the migration dialogue in Nigeria. These sort of engagements will positively count towards the sustainability of migration programs for national development. When we got the invitation for this program, CSONet Made said there will be intense discussions around the sustainability of migration programs in Nigeria. And so this morning, I'd like to wish us fruitful and positive, intense discussions. Thank you for your attention.
Please, another round of applause. Clapping doesn't hurt, it only increases your lifespan. Remember that always. Yes, very swiftly, I will invite Joseph Sanwo, who is the head of programs, FIA at Ipsum. Please, a round of applause for his own goodwill message.
Excellencies, permit me to stand on the existing. Step down without new representative here present. I'm presenting my team Molina Rafael, who is a team leader of FIAB and Honorable absent this morning. I will bring you greetings from FIAB. FIAB is a Spanish government foundation here in Nigeria and also present in other countries. We are here to implement the EU-funded project called ETIPSON. ETIPSON is Action Against Trafficking in Persons and Smuggling of Migrants. The project ETIPSON has been able to bring together partners that are stakeholders in the fight of TIP and SOM in Nigeria. And we want to say we are delighted with the collaboration and partnership so far. We are also happy to be part of this dialogue. FIAB is coming in this dialogue for the first time, and thank to the EU for the express permission for us to support. We are always here to support everything that will make life easy for the citizenry. The sole aim of this project is to reduce the rates of trafficking and smuggling of migrants in Nigeria. It's to give support to the government of to the number of projects towards this objective, and I think that some members of CSOs are under a different network. Is also a member of the service and all partners under this project are here present. So we want to thank you for the opportunity to have a dialogue. It's very important in every situation. When you have issues, when you have problems, think of it's as good as having problems solved. So it's for all of us.
It's another round of applause. He has helped us by keeping it straight and to the point. And the last of the goodwill messages, I know some people have been itching to hear this. So the last of the goodwill messages will be coming all the way from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, from the VC, who is Professor Charles Esimone, who is this morning represented by Professor Ike Odemegu, who is the Director, Center for Migration Studies, and he is representing the Vice Chancellor. Good morning, sir. Excellencies, and all of you, my dear friends, I bring you greetings from Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Greetings from the Vice Chancellor, Professor Charles Esimone. Greetings from the Center for Migration Studies of Nnamdi Azikiwe University. It takes one to be, two to stand, three to balance, and four to grow, to fly, and to soar. In all this, collaboration is required for social existence. It is therefore meet that we've gathered here together today to celebrate the first Civil Society Day of the National Migration Dialogue with the theme, Strategies for the Sustainability of Migration Programs in Nigeria. It is also very significant that it is in collaboration that we have got this far. The Center for Migration Studies of Nnamdi Azikiwe University is a child of this collaboration. Born through the resolution in the National Migration Dialogue of 2017 to bring the academia into the national migration management of Nigeria, born
through the joint effort of the government of the civil society organizations, visiting Nigerian universities in 2018 and coming also to Nnamdi Azikiwe University. And going through the proactive and community response orientation of the university. The Center for Migration Studies was charged with the triple mandate of research, teaching, and advocacy. Taking off with advocacy through sensitization, then academic programming, and finally the establishment of the center. The center has grown through collaboration, and particularly with the CSO NetNet, the prime organizers of this event today. And so, we bring congratulations of the university to the network of civil society organizations focused on migration and development in Nigeria. The university wishes that this day may be the beginning of even greater growing of the management of migration in Nigeria. Child of collaboration, we've grown through this collaboration, and it is our responsibility and commitment to contribute to the growth of collaboration for the growth of migration management, governance, and sustainability of migration programs in Nigeria. I wish all of us successful deliberations, actionable resolutions, and productive outcomes from this first Civil Society Day in the journey of our National Migration Dialogue. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
You know, when people in the classroom speak, it's always different from those of us in the field. Thank you very much for that warm address. And I now quickly invite the chair of today's event to come and speak to us about the essence of today, things that have been and things that are yet to come. I therefore call on Osato Mary Igbinoson.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on the firm existing protocol. It is with great joy I welcome you to this auspicious event, the first Civil Society Day of the National Migration Dialogue, to talk about an important issue which is a part of our past, our reality, and our future, either as individuals, CSOs, or as a nation. CSOs on migration in Nigeria wishes to thank the government for the inclusion of CSOs in the architecture of migration governance through the coordinating agency, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. We especially want to thank the Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, for our commitment in ensuring better coordination of migration and for accepting to be here today. We also want to thank our international partners, the SDC, IOM, EU, and FIAP, for the support of CSO so far in the implementation of activities to promote migration governance in Nigeria. When we talk about migration, we are talking about almost every one of us gathered here. We are talking about our brothers, our sisters, friends, children who have moved, on the move, or will eventually move. Migration touches almost every aspect of our lives. Migration is often regarded as a tool for development. This is unarguably true because the Sustainable Development Goals and the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration asserts these facts. But of what use is a tool if not effectively managed? To attain this development as posited by the SDGs and the GCM, The set up programs ought to be adequately implemented. And beyond this implementation is its capacity to expand over a period of time, thereby ensuring its sustainability. Nigeria, a country of origin, transit and destination for migrants, has relentlessly implemented activities of migration through the various MDAs, international partners, civil society organizations, and even the academia. The efficiency and impact of these activities is based on this sustainability. This is what the 2021 Civil Society Day aims to achieve. We are here today as civil society organizations on migration to speak with one voice, transforming our field experiences into actionable strategies to sustain migration activities, which we have a full grasp on, especially from the grassroots. We are here today as CSOs on migration to bring about transformative changes in migration governance in Nigeria. The desire to bring about this change is evident in the commitment of migration CSOs to be gathered here today. Despite the challenges some persons encountered regarding logistics, and somehow have to find themselves here by traveling their road at night to be here today. CSOs on migration readiness to take up this duty to provide recommendations for the sustainability of migration activities emanates from our desires to complement the activities of government and international partners for sustainable efforts. We have been trained. We have been working on the field. We have gained experiences. We have learned from best practices. Now we are ready to promote innovation, efficiency, and improvement in actualizing a better and sustainable migration governance in Nigeria. In the spirit of sustainability, it is exciting that a young person has been given the opportunity to chair the first CSD of the National Migration Dialogue. This is a proof that there is space in the civil society sphere for young persons to get involved, and a proof that we are ready for the future. What is sustainability without the involvement of young persons? The hope of the future. As we look forward to the success of today's event, there is an assurance that effective strategies will be developed because that is the yearning of CSOs, and we have taken up the responsibility in line with this vision. Finally, migration is not the problem. Like we will always say, migration is a multifaceted phenomenon. If harnessed well, it will bring about sustainable development. CSOs on migration look forward to a nation developed as a result of sustainable strategies of migration programs that will be developed today. We look forward to a nation where human mobility is not seen as a problem, but as an opportunity for communities to harness the benefits migration brings. We want to use this day to remember our colleague and friend, late Jennifer Ero. The best gift we can give to her is to produce strategies to sustain migration programs in Nigeria, which she was actively involved in. I wish us all a fruitful deliberation. God bless Nigeria. God bless CSOs on migration. CSOs, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Ably supported by her co-chair in organizing today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gradually coming to another important stage of this sitting, where we're going to be listening to an address, and of course, which will mark the declaration of the Civil Society Day Open. I therefore humbly invite the Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, who is in this hall ably represented by the Director General of NAPTIP, that is National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, in the person of Dr. Fatima Waziri Azmi. Please, a round of applause.
The chairperson of the Civil Society Day, the representative of the U.S. Ambassador, Mr. Correa, the representative of the Nigerian Immigration Service, the representative of the National Library of Nigeria, the representative of the Honorable Federal Commissioner of NCF-RMI, the representative of the VC of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, the representative of IOM, EU, of FIAP, the representative of the various ministries, departments, and agencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, civil society organizations here present, members of the Media Corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, good morning. Let me commence by extending the sincere apology of the Honorable Minister, Excellency Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, who, to be honest, really wanted to be here. And this is not just being politically correct. I say she really wanted to be here because I was just notified yesterday to come here to represent her. We all know that as political appointees, you are at the pleasure of Mr. President, so she had to travel. That is why she's not here. And it is my singular honor to now read the remarks of Her Excellency. Your Excellencies, partners, and actors in national migration governance, I have the honor and privilege to warmly welcome you to this Civil Society Day of the 2021 National Migration Dialogue. The establishment of the National Migration Dialogue has provided for us in Nigeria the space to fulfill the two dimensions of the celebration of the International Migrant Day. 18th of December, as always, since the year 2000, presented us with the opportunity to express our solidarity with the significant population of the world's citizens classified as international migrants, and indeed, other migrants making up the over 1 billion people on the move. The day also has become an auspicious moment for all the actors in migration management to reflect on their actions towards the effective management of migration dynamics for the greater good of the migrants and the states. This year's National Migration Dialogue is indeed very unique in its twofold activities of the Civil Society Day and the Common Space. Having participated in Global Forum on Migration and Development and other global platforms of migration discourse, I am particularly happy that I get to witness this pivotal event in the national migration management. This is a clear demonstration that Nigeria is attuned to international best practices and has the capacity of domesticating them. I salute the Honorable Federal Commissioner of NCF-RMI for recognizing and seizing this opportunity of growth by allowing this twofold dimension of the National Migration Dialogue. Civil society organizations remain key partners of government in developing and implementing all developmental and governance programs. CSOs in the migration field have proven to be one of such partners to reckon with. They have provided critical perspectives to issues as they participate both in policy formulation, implementation, and review of processes. Civil society days, as I have witnessed, have also proven very valuable to the conversations and outcomes in these global forums. In this space, the CSOs talk and listen to themselves in order to articulate their thoughts and organize their engagement with the government and other stakeholders on the primary theme of the particular forum. Looking at the theme of this CSD, strategies for the sustainability of migration programs in Nigeria, I have no doubt that at the end of the day, you will have undertaken a comprehensive understanding and come up with actionable recommendations to the issue of mobility and people on the move from the perspective of our national development. As you all celebrate your first ever Civil Society Day within the National Migration Dialogue, I enjoin you to make good use of this opportunity in making your presence in the national migration governance more visible and more effective. Following this event, we want to see improvement in your organizing, the quality of your contributions, your engagement, and advocacy strategies. Finally, as the Supervising Minister of NCFRMI, I want to once again express my happiness in witnessing this rare demonstrative act of government openness to inclusive participation and collaboration driven by the new way of acting, delivering as one. I believe that this platform has come to stay as we look forward to more innovations in improving our national migration governance. Again, I thank the Honorable Federal Commissioner and the entire NCFRMI team for providing the coordination in this regard. Before I end, let me express my profound appreciation to our partners, the Swiss Agency for Development Cooperation, the European Union, International Organization for Migration, and FIAP for their continued support. Also, my appreciation goes to the Center for Migration Studies, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, the Nigerian Television Authority, and the United Bank for Africa for setting the stage towards the tapping of local support. I thank everyone here present today and those joining us virtually, and I wish you a fruitful deliberation. Knowing that the COVID-19 is still here with us, I advise you to observe all necessary protocols and precautions to keep yourself and your loved ones safe and well. On this note, it is now my honor and privilege to declare this Civil Society Day open. Thank you very much.
That applause sounded like it was for me. It does not sound like an applause for the Honorable Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, ably represented by the DG of NAPTIP. Ladies and gentlemen, if you take a look at our program of event, the next item is going to be a short documentary to review to us the journey so far, especially with regards to the activities and programs of civil society organizations in the migration space in Nigeria. I therefore invite you to sit back, relax as you watch. As the technician tried to sort that out, please, the dance drama group, be on standby because you are next immediately after this documentary. Thank you.
before that time, there have been so many other activities, but they are not necessarily that basically the diaspora thing, focusing on the issue of rentals, basically, financial rentals. And there were a few suicide organizations at that time, and some people. Then you have people like each other who were those people that stand for the idea of diaspora, so the Australian institution that in 1999 and 2007. So they started zoning around the National Planning Commission. The National Planning Commission at that time, National Planning Commission, and they were the one that was coordinating development issues. And so migration was one of the key development issues that the NPC was leading at that time. We also have, of course, the National Commission for migrants, refugees, and dynamic places. But they were not serious at that time. They were strictly for refugees. So it was until when the 90-year came and expanded the space that is now involved that time not much of was written. So things were I can remember when we were in when the government actors, government officials are saying one thing, I would be on the other side or saying differently. So I'm saying on what my vision is, what the idea, the direction to go was, very different. And we also that my vision portfolio at that time was big, totally fragmented, because you have the Nigerian Immigration Service, build its own migration way. Going back almost close to 13 years ago, in the time that I believe active civil society engagement, Bishop are saying one thing, I will be on the other side of saying different things. So I'm getting our understanding of what my vision to be, what the idea, direction to go was, very different. And we also met that my vision portfolio at that time was big, totally fragmented, because you have the Nigerian Immigration Service, build its own migration way, you understand from only consumer security, and we're building more of immigration issues, immigration and immigration. As far as National Commission for Education, that was their command before they became the their focus at that time was refugee. Then at that time was emergency issues, material emergency issues. But now that everything is being completed by the SFR and probably supported by the everybody was just great. There was no diaspora commissioner. And there was no policy. You understand? We have, I'm not sure we do have, right? Because there was no migration policy. I think it's just the migration policy until 2015. So the first migration-based policy that we have in Nigeria was something before migration policy, and that was 2015.
Firstly, schools deliver about people's with active to raise awareness and protecting the government and the public organization. And contraception. The trade also treatment, all kinds of programs.
We are kind of advocacy to NGOs and CSOs.
Pastor Adibolude, the Executive Director of Christ United. I'm privileged to be the Zonal Coordinator of the Central States and in the North Central, right comprised of Kwara, Kogi, Nasarawa, Plateau, FCC, Niger. We have mobilized the society organizations that including talks with the National Commission of Migrants and Internationals with lessons to ensure that we move on the migration governance.
Spartan efforts to support victims of human trafficking and irregular migration, a non-governmental organization consulting citizen initiatives CCR and a milk shelter and restoration center in Lagos. Civil Society Network and Migration and Development (CSLNet) made of the state chapter marks 2020 International Migrant Day of members, sensitizing people of Lafayette, Rwanda, and Delta on the importance and challenges facing the migrants, people moving from one place to another.
As an organization, we offer trauma healing and counseling to both migrants and returnees. As the story you see here is to encourage people to come into the office for counseling. And so far, we have had people working. They feel better now. The stigma is reduced. As you can see, this tells a big picture about trying to get out of the country by sea, the fact that they are looking for quick money, and the fact that they end up probably in jail or in slavery. These are now the jobs to help young people understand the issue of forced migration.
Migrants in Nigeria, Nigerian migrants outside the country or outside, anywhere you can see, whether in Nigeria, in Africa, or outside. So if there are any principles, how we will engage on national migrants have, principles and guidelines of how we can reach Nigeria, for example, on African migrant issues, or you engage not only the government, but also some of the international institutions, organizations, African Union, the EU, the American, right now, we have a lot of issues going on at the African, migration at African level. There is this African continental free agreement that is signed, led by the community and Nigeria is one of the signatories to the ASC, the African Continental Free Agreement. Migration and free movement agenda is one of the key pillars of that agreement. We as civil society organizations are not able to come together and say, for African migrants migrating around Africa or outside Africa, if any partnership when it comes to society, Nigeria, really impact. Say, okay, this is a direction that the Justice Society organization is saying in their position concerning any partnership or migration of peace. There's nothing like that. We have some society organizations that but Nigeria will support for population, and make a land. Then also at the global level. So that voice is one that we need to
Thank you for that clap, but I think we can do a little bit better for ourselves as civil societies in the migration space in Nigeria. As earlier announced, because we have our dignitaries who, of course, have other activities ahead of them for the day, we therefore call on the dance drama group, CMS from Nnamdi Azikiwe University.
How dare you, Zeus? How dare you travel all the way from your rep to my own? Take over my beloved wife, Medusa. How dare you disturb the wife of Apollo? How dare you do that? The mother of Apollo, wife of convention. I did not take your wife. Follow you to my realm. You escape your bad things and bad breath of dying dead. Ah! What was that? Why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you not thinking forward? Did you hear a gunshot? I did not hear anything. But did you hear a gunshot? Nobody heard any gunshot. I'm very sure I had a gunshot. And it was something like that of Onon got, you know where you are. I want to open your mouth and say Onon government. Is that what you're just saying? What did I do? Onon government. Let's continue our rehearsal. I was taking it from the top. That was for some people. You start imagining control. Honestly. This is not the country I used to know. There used to be this oneness. There used to be this. You understand? Maybe I will respect each other's culture, tradition. Yes, but not anymore. Do you remember the Independence celebration? Yes, our fathers and our forefathers fought and fought for us. How we march, our hands on our chest. Yes. Every changing the new horizon, singing the national anthem, new hope and joy. Is that the English version or the Chinese version? Because let's be right with it. What competitors rising now? Tell me, this competitor used to be about 20. They call me. They are invested. They have been clamped down because they participated in the revolution now project. And you're telling me of a competitor. I'm not really sure that is our national anthem. I don't think that is our national anthem. Or man, it must be man. Let's continue with the anthem. This one for you know why? I will never do I want you again. What's wrong with you? If you hear the gunshot, hear gunshot. Oh, you're not the one imagining gunshot. Hey, what's the problem? You're not anticipating gunshot. Don't worry. They just feel. You want to die? Yeah, want to die. I want to die. Let me do the last of it. Is anybody here with questions? Hey, this one they say is very well. Will you really? Give me the demi. When you were coming from this door, you never ask me for face mask very well. They make sure I pass the face mask. Did they ask you if you have eaten? You know, I have not eaten. The children of wisdom in this country is another thing. Yeah, please. You know that marginal law is now 250. 250. No wonder the food in the hotel last night was. I don't understand. Because they use salt in places of magic. What is in the air? What is in I hope so. I hope so. Can we go back together? Don't forget about it. What you need something. Better not call politicians. Don't say that politics are free. But that's what your girlfriend is. Do you know the message point? Or senior brother to COVID-19? Senior brother. I only had that to give birth to so many people. Omicron. Yes, and I am tired of hearing face back. Migrants from the United States. Yes. What is it? This time we keep hearing face mask. Something might happen one day and somebody will take care of another. I should see. Very possible. I possibly father, the always gave me that. Why is the order? But who have the performance here? And die alone. And die That was. I still don't worry about it. I still don't worry about it. This is how this big man. He lied. He promised me that somebody was going to show us to America. We not give you last drop of our blood, 2.5 million naira. What was that stupid name again? See that man that told us he was the migration officer. After 2 fires. So you remember, we gave it 2.5 million naira now. We are not here. Irregular migration. What is irregular migration? What start bringing ugly memories to me? Please. Why should you die? Why should you die out there? Now we make migration. What's all many more? No food, no water. How will be a part of my desire boss? Imagine a part of 50 with 150 human beings lying on each other. I told you, candidate, I'm children, more than you are dying. You said you should keep moving forward. I know you keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Have you forgotten the issues that they want to like to go like that? Have you forgotten how the society is going on now? No water. The begging that all these people in the street. Society made us to be inhuman. I don't know. Have you forgotten Mama's bill? You keep moving forward, carefully. What has this country done for you? Everything about our country deteriorates every day. You say that not like what has right. But we have everything our parents. We do that every day. We see that in the night every time. You don't get late. No people are dying in the desert. You say you should keep moving forward. No, I don't know this. Abuja is prison in Libya. With population of human beings there. We could have it. God, I was not able to when they buried Baba. What about my memory? What about them? When you invited to be your wife, the woman who be your wife is behind. That is the middle of the Mediterranean. Never to be nothing about it at all. Don't ever kill him. Don't tell them how you killed him. I did not kill anybody. You don't kill anyone. No, brother. What is it, God? What is the head of the last? Don't ever. I did not kill anyone. Tell them. Stop. Why are you coming again? What is the problem? How many times have I warned you? Whenever you get a go show, take one man. You get a go show today. Did you hear the go show? Did you hear the go show? Nobody heard any go show. Make me cry now. Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. What did you do about me? What did you do? So it doesn't do it. Well, it is human mobility. To the content that is the thing that we are doing, human mobility. Center for migration. So human mobility to the content of societal. Also, you know. Yes, so they are part of the organization. Why have you been using me there and there, and following me there and there? The organization is to make the people that have the same mindset come together and work on the societal development dialogue for a better tomorrow, for a better migration. So let us go back to there and again. We need to remove the grammar. Why are you calling people community? What was you start to do with national dialogue? You don't do what I want to work.
Thank you very much for that applause. It's one of the things that drama, comedy, and other things in that line afford you to speak truth about our realities in such a manner that no one can challenge you as far as the things that you are highlighting are true. Ladies and gentlemen, a while ago, while the chair for today's event was making her remark, she did mention that we lost one of our soldiers, a very worthy one at that. And this time, CSO NetMade has put together a short documentary on the life and times of this very soldier, which I will crave your indulgence to give us the next less than 5 minutes to see what this soldier was like while she was still with us here. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Was born on the 15th of March 1970 in Abuja, Northeast local government of Edo State. She was the 11th of 28 children. She went to primary and secondary schools at Yoba College and then Kiri Polytechnic, where she studied medical laboratory science and graduated in 1992. 3 years later, she got married to Mr. Julius Omorege Eo in 1995. The marriage was blessed with 3 children. She became personal assistant to the first lady of Edo State, Mrs. Eki Iberium, from 1999 to 2007. Then she went on to start her own businesses. First, Microflex Cyber Cafe from 2000 to 2010, after which she opened the restaurant, Safe Kitchen, and the boutique, Gemini's Classics, simultaneously. At a point, all her businesses suffered setbacks that caused her great emotional and financial discomfort. She had little or nothing in her purse, but her strength, resilience, and faith in God saw her through it all. Concerned about the growing number of unemployed young people in her community, in 2004, she started an NGO, Society for the Empowerment of Young Persons, SAFE. Mrs. Jennifer Eno was the executive director of SAFE. SAFE was officially registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission in 2007 and with the Edo State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development in 2008. SAFE is concerned and committed to the empowerment and protection of women and young persons. In her lifetime, SAFE completed 9 campaigns and won 13 awards for service to humanity. Mrs. Jennifer Ero was a very passionate and active member of the civil society, fighting for the rights of children, women, girls, and all vulnerable groups, including migrants. She became the pioneer coordinator of Child Protection Network (CPN), Lagos State Chapter. In 2018, she became the national coordinator for Child Protection Network in Nigeria. In her first year as the coordinator of Child Protection Network, Lagos State Chapter, she intervened in over 999 cases. In 2015, she started her own TV program on ITV called Peking Mata. As the name suggests, she used the platform to highlight issues bordering on child abuse, child trafficking, molestation, rape, and many more. She was also the lead trainer under the European Union and International Organization for Migration's joint initiative for migrant protection and integration in Nigeria. In 2020, she became the National Financial Secretary, Network Against Child Trafficking, Abuse and Labor, NACTA. She was part of the Executive Directors Conference of Non-Governmental Organizations. In 2015, she registered her homeless shelter under the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. Mrs. Jennifer Ero was a loving mother, beloved daughter, sister, devoted Christian, a child protection expert, child rights activist, and an advocate against human trafficking. As you could already tell, she was also a happy, stylish, and most of all, a humble human being. In the course of her works and activities, Mrs. Jennifer works closely with various partners including the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Lagos State Government under the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Issues, American Bar Association, United States Agency for International Development, USAID, International Organization for Migration, IOM, Swiss Embassy, Girl Scout Initiative, GPI, and European Union, EU. Indeed, Mrs. Jennifer's life was a life well lived. May God Almighty rest her soul and grant us all the wisdom to learn from her life of service to humanity. Amen.
Thank you very much. Still in the spirit of honoring Mrs. Jennifer Ero, can we all please rise for a 1-minute silence and offer some prayers for the repose of her soul. May God Almighty accept all our prayers and let us all rest in peace. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, our time is fast spent, and therefore we're going into the next item on the agenda before our dignitaries here will depart. We're going to be having a group photograph right in front here, so we invite all our dignitaries to please come forward. And the chair for the day, please kindly coordinate others who will be joining our dignitaries for the group photograph. After the group photograph, we're going to be having a presentation of CSO's review on the National Migration Dialogue. But before the presentation, we're going to go for a very short tea break. All right. Having done with the group photograph, as some of our very important dignitaries take their leave to go and face other equally important activities of the day, I've been directed to inform you that tea is ready for all of us to go and break it in the name of tea break. As we kindly make our way, I think it's somewhere outside, behind this hall, this door. Please let's be reminded that we still have other activities ahead of us today. Because the main reason why we are gathered here is for civil societies to interact. Also, while you go for your tea break, we have a very colorful marketplace just by where you're going to be having your tea break, where you're going to be interacting with representatives of civil societies who will be interacting with you to tell you what they do and how they do the things they do. I promise you, you will be able to network. Okay. They say the tea break space is when you go out of this hall this way and then you turn left. It's always very easy to recognize where people are eating. So I'm sure you will not find it difficult to locate the place. I've been informed that we have just 30 minutes for this activity. So we are expected to be back in the hall by 1 p.m. at most. By 1 p.m. we'll resume. So let's make good use of the half hour that we have. Thank you very much. All right, please, generously, this is very important. Let us listen. The representative of the VC of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, where Center for Migration Studies is located, said the first 10 people to approach the stand of the center at the marketplace will get a copy of this book for free. The first 10 people, please don't rush. The first 10 people to approach the stand of Center for Migration Studies just behind this hall will and the first 20 people to go to the stand of CSO NetMade will get their newsletters for free. If I were you, I will not push, but I will rush to go and get a copy of this book. Thank you very much. The book is African Migration Studies, Nigerian Migration Dynamics and Governance. It was edited by Dr. Emeka Obiezu and Professor Ike Odimegu. You will surely find this book instructive, informative, and very, very useful.
basically in the diaspora, focusing more on the issue of relevance, basically financial relevance. And there were a few civil society organizations at that time, and some few individuals that were also involved. At that time, I think the only civil society organization that was involved in diaspora issues that so far that I know is the NOMRA, Network of Nigerian Universities, led by Professor Abirosi Adepo. Then you have people like Morelu Ijala, who were those people that anchor the idea of diaspora for the Obasanjo administration that started in 1999 and 2007. But they started the journey around the National Planning Commission. The National Planning Commission at that time is called the NPC, National Planning Commission. And they were the one that was coordinating development issues. And so migration was one of the key developments in the sectoral issues that the NPC was doing at that time. We also have, of course, the National Commission for Migrants, they were not as seriously at that time.
What's up, everybody? It's DJ to Form, and you're listening to Let's Talk Create One.
So it wasn't until when the IEDF came and expanded the space that is now involved that time, not much of capacity was built. So things were in a state of when we are in any committee, when the government asked us to come and officials are saying one thing, I will be on the other side of saying different things. So our understanding of what migration is, what the idea direction is was created, were different. And don't also forget that migration for school at that time was because you have the migration debate, you understand from only control aspect, security aspect, and we were following more of immigration, issues, immigration and immigration, as far as NCFR, because that was what they were, National Commission for Refugees, that was their former name before they became the NCFR now. Their focus at that time was refugees. Myanmar at that time was emergency issues, humanitarian emergency. Not now that everything is being promoted by the NCFR and probably supported by everybody was just doing that. There was no diaspora commitment. And there was there was no migration policy around 2020. Even though I think the journey started around 2009, but we couldn't get a migration policy together until 2015. So the migration-based policy that we have in Nigeria was before migration policy, and that was 2015.
carried out advocacy to MDAs and CSOs.
International Migrant Day. Challenges facing the migrants, people moving from one place to another.
As an organization, we offer trauma healing and counseling to post-migrants and returnees. And the story you see here is to encourage people to come into the office for counseling. And so far, we have had people walking. They feel better now. The stigma is reduced. As you can see, this tells a big picture about trying to get out of the country by sea, the fact that they are looking for quick money, and the fact that they end up probably in jail or in slavery somewhere. This has helped a lot to help young people understand the issues of forced migration.
It will improve migration governance, for everybody. It will improve livelihoods for migrants in Nigeria, Nigerian migrants outside the country or outside, everywhere you can see, whether in Nigeria, whether in Africa or outside. So if there are guiding principles of how you engage on national migrants issues, if you have, principles and guidelines of how you engage Nigeria, for example, on African migrants issues, or you engage not only Nigerian government, but also some of the international institutions, human organizations, African Union, the EU, on migration. Right now, we have a lot of issues going on at the African, migration at African level. There is this African Continental Free Trade Agreement that is signed, led by, coordinated by the AU, Addis, and Nigeria is one of the signatories to the AFC, African Continental Trade Agreement. And migration and free movement agenda is one of the key pillars of that agreement. We as civil society organizations have not been able to come together and say, for African migrants migrating around Africa or outside Africa, what can we do? Then the EU partnership, when it comes to, the civil societies in Nigeria making, impact at that level, and say, okay, this is the direction that, Nigerian civil society organizations is saying. This is their position concerning AU-EU partnership on migration and mobility. Now there is nothing like that. We have some, civil society organizations that are not from Nigeria that are pushing that agenda. But Nigeria, with its bulk of population, when it comes together and make a demand, we can have a say on key issues, not only on Nigeria related migration issues, but also West Africa regional migration issues, Africa related migration continental issues, then also at the global level. So that voice is what is currently lacking, that we need to come together and begin to articulate.
Mrs. Jennifer Eziegbe Eo was born on the 15th of March 1970 in Odigi, Obia Northeast Local Government of Edo State. She was the 11th of 28 children. She went to primary and secondary schools at Yoba College and then KB Polytechnic, where she studied medical laboratory science and graduated in 1992. 3 years later, she got married to Mr. Julius Omoregbe Ero in 1995. The marriage was blessed with 3 children. She became the personal assistant to the First Lady of Edo State, Mrs. Eki Ibinedium, from 1999 to 2007. Then she went on to start her own businesses. First, Microflex Cyber Cafe from 2000 to 2010, after which she opened a restaurant, Safe Kitchen, and a boutique, Genevix Classics, simultaneously. At a point, all her businesses suffered setbacks that caused her great emotional and financial discomfort. She had little or nothing in her purse, but her strength, resilience, and faith in God saw her through it all. Concerned about the growing number of unemployed young people in her community, in 2004, she started an NGO, Society for the Empowerment of Young Persons, SAFE. Mrs. Jennifer Ero was the executive director of SAFE. SAFE was officially registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission in 2007 and with the Edo State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development in 2008. SAFE is concerned and committed to the empowerment and protection of women and young persons. In her lifetime, SAFE completed 9 campaigns and won 13 awards for service to humanity. Mrs. Jennifer Ero was a very passionate and active member of the civil society, fighting for the rights of children, women, girls, and all vulnerable groups, including migrants.
So that is our heart to get this kind of support for our own consequences. This is our consequences. So we know that this support will go a long way, starting for the union also. Sanitary is there, everything is there. Something, all items are, I what last year, go home you can bake yourself. Go home you can have ready meals. So yes, that's what it's all about.
She became the pioneer coordinator of Child Protection Network, CPN, Edo State Chapter. In 2018, she became the national coordinator for Child Protection Network in Nigeria. In her first year as the coordinator Child Protection Network, Edo State chapter, she intervened in over 999 cases. In 2015, she started her own TV program on ITV called Peking Mata. As the name suggests, she used the platform to highlight issues bordering on child abuse, child trafficking, molestation, rape, and many more. She was also the lead trainer under the European Union and International Organization for Migration's joint initiative for migrant protection and reintegration in Nigeria. In 2020, she became the National Financial Secretary, Network Against Child Trafficking, Abuse and Labor, NACTAL. She was part of the Executive Directors Conference of Non-Governmental Organizations.
NigerDJMixtapes.com.
As the Batman for the street, when nobody here can see my lane.
Exclusive to White Body.
We had to run up the track. One of y'all trying to help it. I had y'all to say.
Uncle got it by the feet. Can't nobody do it better. Louis V sweater, proud by the jeans. Got 2,000 Louis made it double. My niggas had to invest. Boy, got 330. I get my message. Yeah, I was listening to the chest. We was trapping for a couple of months. I made $100 on the wall. Right foot, not the ball, man. I'm straight down in the ball. Got to get my Louis shine on. I just say I'm good like you. All these people want to marry me. In the code is what therapy. Try to put me in the casket, put me saying with a passion, had to do it, made it happen. That's a law of attraction. Give me a phone and I shot it. Lady rockin' in the closet, got to insert in my pocket. Gotta go make a deposit. Still living on 50T. Now I do it just like a real thing. She said she love me, that's TMI. I might just tell them on TMZ. Fuck it up, they wasn't there when me coming up. I was just charging $100. Now my neck was 100 plus. Oh, I just be handling it business. I just been told with the quickness. I ain't never had a damn day.
Exclusive from wisegodded.com.
I keep on seeing right beside the land, so the yen flies and all. I get a bag of double. All of that company, it's time to turn this thing. Really, we're working the beat. I mean, they can't even. I can go to band for a living. I might see the regular music. Take my petty, but it's I would be better because you like money, so And then you got it tapping, busting like busting the backside. I got it right in the photo, raising the ground no color. I was in great at what out, out of the cars of coke. I got it right. People want to see me fall red, I don't want to land on. Shawty, but you wasn't enough for me. Riding in my shoes. Tell me what to do. I want to do anything. Don't fuck around about. Got no problem. Don't get garbage. I just want to be the motivation for my youngest. For my youngest. Everybody go number one. Person got a nigga drop his daddy till the legs up. These bitches can't come between them. Niggas always trying to know what I'm on. Almost catch it in my dog phone. My nigga in the prison, he told me some niggas go. Won't make the same silence plans with some niggas fall. We flooded to the teeth, streets and bills slow. We running with the takes and cleats to feel cold. They sent them to the pound.
I'm sure for those of us inside the hall seated already, we've had our sumptuous tea break and we are good to go to kickstart the next phase of this sitting, where we are going to be having a breakout session to discuss sustainability of migration programs in Nigeria. So if we have contacts of others who are still outside and have finished their own tea break, please, we can reach out to them, although we made the announcement earlier inside the hall. So the earlier we start, the earlier we get to finish and go and rest to prepare for tomorrow. So the co-chair of today's event is going to be moderating the next session, where we're going to be having different groups to attend to different thematic areas of this general theme, the migration, sustainability of migration programs in Nigeria. I once again welcome us back from the tea break. Okay, it's actually supposed to be a plenary session where we'll be discussing the migration CSOs in Nigeria yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And this session will be effectively moderated by the co-chair of today's sitting, Mr. Osita Osemene. But before then, in the audience, I have some of my very senior people in this business, people who have played very significant roles in bringing me to this level of understanding of migration issues and discussing it from media perspective. I pay very high respect to Mr. Nosakare Orense of the NAME Foundation. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me put your hands together for him. Under his tutelage, I have been led into very many spaces as far as this discourse is concerned. When you want to talk migration endlessly, please get Mr. Nosakare. Thank you very much for all the tutelage, sir. We also have in our midst Ambassador Bolaji Akinremi, who is the Director, Consular and Legal Service, MFA. Please welcome Ambassador. A round of applause for Ambassador Bolaji Akinremi, who is the Director, Consular and Legal Service, MFA. We are very glad to have you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, discussing migration So we've had a little tweak to the agenda. But before we mention the next item we'll be proceeding with, we would like to recognize the representative of UNICEF. Please, a round of applause for the representative of UNICEF in our midst this afternoon. And we also have representative of Action Aid. Action Aid, we recognize your presence. And on that note, the shadow reporting team, if you are ready, please come forward to present CSO's review on the National Migration Dialogue. And this activity is expected to be done by shadow reporting team. We therefore invite the team lead to come and lead us in this presentation. Just as a way of reminder, we are here this afternoon, since morning actually, to mark this year's National Migration Dialogue. Today is the day one of the lineup of activities for this year's event. So we now have the team lead. All right, we now have a member of the shadow reporting team for presentation of CSO's review on the National Migration Day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back from your tea break. Okay, just hold on a bit. Let's do some adjustment to the so you can see the screen. Please, we are waiting for you. Can we have our seats? Thank you. Sure, it won't affect the... Good afternoon once again. Please, we welcome you to the first ever Civil Society Day. Are you excited? Doesn't look like we have excited people in the house. Hello? CSOs? Okay. We are still catching on. CSOs? Thank you. So my name is Dom Tohe. I'm a member of the Civil Society Network on Migration. I'm presenting on behalf of my team a critical evaluation of the National Migration Dialogue in the light of migration governance in Nigeria. Migration dialogue is nothing new to most of us. Okay, next slide. So the CSOs are known to be a sounding board for government, and as such, we took it as our responsibility to be able to monitor and evaluate activities that affect us. So here, we are gathered to celebrate the National Migration Day, which is an annual event. We've had 6 dialogues so far, which has given us a platform to be able to assess our progress and know what needs to be done and how that needs to be done. So this evaluation was taken to be able to guide us in our following conversations. We've had but now the to actions. I don't know, my mask is disturbing me. Excuse me, please. So has this translated into actions that we can say, well, this is where we are? So our objective is to review our task, rather, I would say, was to review the National Migration Dialogue, establish if the dialogue has mainstreamed migration discourse into national development. I will state here that the report is still in progress. It will be published and shared to stakeholders as soon as that is done. But considering that we're here discussing this, we decided to bring to your attention this update and get your views so we can make progress. So these are the themes that have been discussed, and as you can see, it has been very, very elaborative, capturing most of the issues that Nigeria is facing as a nation. So now our achievement migration developed, and it's to a large extent we can stand here and say that it's is used as a reference tool by other developing countries, and we have the approval, the national migration policy. We have decentralization of migration governance to 6 geopolitical zones, which led to the establishment of state task force on trafficking and irregular migration in 3 states. Decentralization has federation to market to town advocacy, and also the Center for Migration Studies established in Nnamdi Azikiwe University. So what are the gaps? We were able to assess our gaps into 3 categories: ownership, asking who is giving us who agenda, like they say, who pays the piper that takes the tune, right? So now who is paying, who is directing the conversation, and who is funding the process? So for structure, we're asking the question, have we addressed the root causes of irregular migration? We know that issues of job, people migrate basically for economic reasons. How many jobs have been created so far? We have the NELEX being run by the Federal Ministry of Labor and Unemployment. But we asked a question during one of our migration data working groups migration data working group meeting. How many people have been able to access jobs through these platforms? So we need to critically look at great platforms to discuss. We've had a lot of policies established
much has this translated into how many bilateral engagements have government entered into to provide regular pathways for migration? And lastly, process, level of engagement of state and non-state actors, the institutionalization of migration governance in the state and local governments. We know that the private sector is a great place to tap, but how much have we engaged them? Now, in summary, what we're saying to the evaluation, our assessments, our discussion with stakeholders, the national migration governance and development. In that, we still have an absence of the national migration management plan. Still being fed donor strategic interest and not the national interest. Do we have a strategic plan that forms our action plans and is being run and monitored by us? Is the process run by us? Is the process set by us? So, over-reliance on partners and donor support for funding is generally not sustainable. Our activities programming in Nigeria are largely donor-driven. Therefore, this has limited the migration activities are limited agenda. Nigeria migration at the state and local government levels. This decentralization plan was a good one, but we're saying that it hasn't taken root to go. We need to make it more vibrant. We had results, but we need more results. So we need to go back to the states, go back to the local governments, because the fact is that migration doesn't take place in Abuja. It takes place at the grassroots. And when people decide to migrate, you see them selling lands, you see them selling properties. So the decision to migrate is taken at the grassroots and not in Abuja. So we need to take the migration agenda, let it become a household discussion at the state and local government levels. So NCFRMI we're saying that they need to have state desk offices manned by licensed officers at the state level to work directly with CSOs, CBOs, because those are the people at the grassroots and those are the people that know how to get work done. The CSOs we know how to drop our high heels, drop our skirts and put on the shorts and get dirty to get work done. In quotes, please. Management of CSO engagement, there is a disconnect between CSO activities at the grassroots and migration-related issues being discussed at the national level. We know that CSOs have most of the information that government needs, but the question is, are they engaged, are they involved in decision-making to be able to sieve out this information, to be able to help us even in our bilateral and multilateral agreements? Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So there's the invisibility of the private sector, who we know are so important to our discussion, especially in area of NCFI needs to have state desk offices manned by licensed officers at the state level to work directly with CSO, CBO, FBO to address the issue of migration using the platform of the NMD. Improve CSO engagement, collaboration between government and CSOs. Please, can we celebrate the government of Nigeria for starting this great process, and we hope that it will keep going and it will keep building on it and it will.
So better creation, more collaboration between CSOs and state actors, more effective approaches to contribute in promoting better migration governance in Nigeria and globally, because we know that this platform, so we it should be a two-day event just like today, and we're glad to be here. Are you? So, private sector engagement, elicit the cooperation of the organized private sector in funding migration activities in Nigeria, constitute a private and implement guidelines for greater involvement of the private sector partners. Thank you. So I'll hand over to my colleague for any questions and contributions. Thank you.
Thank you. Another round of applause. We are going to welcome just 2 reactions and maybe 1 question. And it is important to emphasize private sector, because for us in labor migration, we know that the needs of the private sector all over the world drives migration, especially labor migration. When the private sector meets labor needs and labor, responsibilities, they still fall on migrants to be able to fill up that gap. So it becomes responsibility here that the private sector is engaged to become part of the migration governance architecture. So I shall be welcoming the reactions. If there is none, meaning that the lecture was good and the recommendations taken, I will step down. Questions, recommendations. It could be comments. Okay, Mr. Charles. Very much for this wonderful presentation. I'm so excited that our work over the years are being integrated here and in a very wonderful and excellent way. And having said that, it is important to know that even though during the panel we are going to emphasize it more, that what we see here today was a deliberate action of the government to bring CSO on board. That is very clear, and it's not about government versus CSO. So whatever is the gap, it is the gap that all of us are going to fill in. So whatever recommendation I have made here is meant for the CSO and the government, because government knows that the important aspect of CSO and deliberately engaged and involved CSO in migration management. And thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Edmond Okori. I want to commend the presenter for the job well done. I have something to say there. Structured migration dialogue. The presenter mentioned something about that at the grassroots. It's important to get on that. What are the precursors for that? How do we ourselves on the structured where migration starts from? And some of my relations whether they are allowed or not. So it's very important to be articulate ourselves in that place. Thank you. Thank you. Any other one? I think the question is for this meeting to answer. and to determine and drive the process. It's important, we recommended, that the NMD could be taken outside Abuja. We could collaborate with state governments. And I am sure that many state chief executives will be very pleased to host the NMD in their state. So we could tinker with the process. It must not happen in Abuja, but if it will happen in Abuja, it should involve the grassroots, because that's where migration happens, like he said. So it's important we begin to think in that direction instead of gathering annually in Abuja. We could go to Delta, we could go to Enugu State, we could be in many of these locations in collaboration with the state government. One, it will really funding the stress, and of course, it will also engage the grassroots where migration happens. I thank you all.
Please, another round of applause for the support. Thank you. All right. So very quickly, I'll be inviting, for the purpose of handing over the microphone to the co-chair of today's event, Mr. Osita Osemene, to come and moderate this plenary session with the title, The Migration CSOs, Yes. The Migration CSOs in Nigeria, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Osita. Mr. Osita is complaining. Can we please put our hands again together for Mr. Osita?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to be with this afternoon. So delighted to be part of this great event. This has been a dream come true. I want to especially appreciate Mr. Charles Wanelo, head of migration, some years back. Tell you the journey so far and how this thing came about. I'm shocked that I was able to mention it before I came up. I wanted to say it first. It has always been 2015. Especially myself and Mr. Jido Lati will say, Mr. Osita, today, what is happening? Where is CSO? Where are the CSOs? Where are the CSOs? CSOs are supposed to be piloting the affairs of migration issues. What is happening? People are not doing anything. What is happening? How are we going to get it right? And I want to say that today we have gotten it right, according to this speech from the I call him a technical and spiritual coordinator, Father Dr. Please, let's put our hands on him. So technical in the sense that I don't know how he managed to coordinate, and we started it. We know how it was rough. From the point of in Nigeria, it's not always easy to have people from different backgrounds come together and focus in one direction. So I think Reverend Father Dr. Emeka, please, you deserve our respects once again. Please, let's give our hands again to him. Yes, today we're going to talk about the migration CSOs in Nigeria. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We'll be having some distinguished ladies and gentlemen that will be the panelists. And we have people from IOM, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, National Commission for Refugees, CSOs. So far. So I'll be calling the first person. The first person, Mr. Charles Wanelo. Charles Wanelo, please. I don't like this clap. Like some of us are not happy. Thank you. The second person, Charles Wanelo, is from the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian LS Uturu. LS Uturu is the head direction in Southwest Regional Office. Someone very special to us. One of these people that facilitated that ensured that this program came to life. Our civil society platform. Local director of WordPress, Imabon Ladipo Sanusi, please put your hands together for her. Yes, we have another person from Humanity Foundation, the project director, Humanity Foundation. Please put your hands together for Mr. Paul Wanko. Please, CSOs, the voice go down. CSOs, the voice. Are we afraid? This is the time for us to take the bull by the horn, and we are looking as if we are sleeping. CSOs, the voice don't sound like this. CSOs, right. Wow. Yes, I want to also recognize another person, one of our special guests, Ms. Pearl Odebe, who is representing the migrant community. Please put your hands together for her. Pearl Odebe is the founder, Migration and Migration Mama, based in Italy. Please put your hands together for her again. Well, welcome. Beautiful faces, handsome faces. Yes, we are here to talk about the migration services in Nigeria, yesterday, today, and for. Yes, so thank you. So we have called you, you have been nominated as one of the panelists, and I believe that every one of you have one thing or the other to do with migration activities, migration issues. Start from
Sorry for that interruption. We want to let some logistic protocols. Some members of ours will be going around seat by seat to engage with our colleagues from Abuja. Those who are residents in Abuja should be coming along to you to sign a paper, which will be very important for our logistics. And she may also request you to give her a piece of your ID, which will be photocopied here and returned back to you. This is to ensure that the logistics go according to the plan of it. So please cooperate with her and be sure she's at level.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, I want to start from the supervising ministry, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, the representative, Mr. Charles Amelo. Yeah, Mr. Charles, please, I would like you to tell us about your organization and what your organization tends to do or is doing now about migration issues and how the journey began.
Thank you very much, Esther.
Yeah, sorry, but without wasting much time, I'd like also to cap it up with the challenges, after you have told us about all these the challenges that you have encountered in this section.
Thank you very much, Esther. I was thinking that we are going to start from CSO because we are your guest. But since government is asked to start, my organization is the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. My organization or ministry is the ministry responsible for supervising the coordinating organization that is the NCFRMI. and other migration-related agencies, including NAPTIP. My ministry, as you know, is charged with the responsibility of coordinating all humanitarian issues in Nigeria. And it is important to note here, because some people will begin to ask, what is the relationship between humanitarian and migration? But it is a question that has been answered globally, because issues of humanitarian has now moved from just not only the issues of relief and disaster management, but also to go to intangible things that has to do with migration. In that case, migration is now fused into issues of humanitarian, including the issues of management of refugees and the IDPs. Having said that, my ministry is at the center of migration since its creation in 2019. At the center indicates that we supervises all the operational agencies that handle issues of migration. We are here today because we supervise the ministry. Then myself as an individual that represented the ministry, and as my humble self, I can say that if you give me the opportunity, I say that I have a dual head here, because I'm coming from a place, then going to support the ministry. And my natural place I'm coming from is the NCFRMI. And I will say that the issues of migration management is evolving in Nigeria. It's evolving in the sense that what we are looking at now is ensuring that the issues of migration, that like issues of reintegration and all those, is now being driven by the Nexus approach. Nexus approach in terms of humanitarian development and peace development. If you are talking about migration, sometimes the movement is caused by development deficit. And we realize the fact that for us to ensure that, because it cannot stop migration, but for us to ensure that migration is informed by a good decision and not by force, then we are now concentrating and focusing on the issues of development and also entrenching peace. Because without peace, there will be no development and issues of humanitarian engagement. So that is where we are. Let me now move on to the issues of what we are talking about here today. The issues of do we work with CSOs on migration? We may not be directly interfacing with civil society organizations, but the agencies will supervise equally interface with the CSOs on migration issues. And by extension, the ministry works with the CSOs. Going down the memory lane, the partnership between the CSOs and government is evolving. Like Oster rightly mentioned during one of his introduction, we were practically begging the CSOs that we want to hear their voice when we started the journey. And they would not just do that by saying it, but we matched it with action. How did we match it with action? We equally engaged them in capacity building. We facilitated capacity building for the CSOs on the issue of migration, because we discovered that at the beginning, most of the CSOs that are working on migration doesn't have the background of migration. There are CSOs working on other fields. We have to recruit them. During the first National Migration Dialogue in 2014, we went searching for CSOs in different geopolitical zones, into migration. And we did not just stop there, but we made sure that they were involved in capacity building alongside with government actors. And in that case, we equally made sure that they were involved in policy development. The national migration policy and even the labor migration policy we're talking about today is the output of all-inclusive participation, particularly including the CSOs. So our vision and where we started from is a vision where we see that we keep the principles of ensuring whole of government and whole of society approach. And I think today we are there. We can see CSO. I recall in 2014 when we were discussing and having a preparatory meeting for the GFMD in Denmark in 2014. We met in the IAM office, and we had 2 days of meeting. The first day was for CSO, and then the second day was for both CSO and the government. That's where this initiative started. And we are looking up for the day we are going to equally organize like GFM having a civil society day and a government day. And today we are around. I think it deserves a round of applause. That is why I keep saying that government was very deliberate in ensuring that the CSO are involved. What are the challenges? The challenges are already identified in the study that was carried out by the CSO. The challenges, one of the challenges, key challenges is the lack of capacity. When we talk about capacity, we are not trying to say sometimes we have projects, we have funding, but the capacity of developing proposal make it difficult for the CSO to access the funding. And we are looking for CSOs for proposal development. Let me stop here for now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Charles. You have educated me already. I never made the mistake to call you as a first person. You have given us a background information and a lot of expos how it was started. So thank you once again for that very comprehensive explanation. Now I'm going to go to the Executive Director of WorkLeft, Madam Imabo Sanusi. Let's know about your organization and what you do in relation to migration and work with the civil society network, your journey so far, and the challenges that you have encountered, especially in the course of your work. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations on this outing. The name of my organization, the Women Trafficking and Child Labor Eradication Foundation. The basic thing we do is awareness raising. You will agree with me that there's a Siamese triplet: migration, human trafficking, and smuggling of migrants. Without addressing this, you will not have, we can't go too far. We raise awareness in communities. We understand that humans are from various communities. We work in partnership with other CSOs. We work and target the group, those vibrant groups, those ones that you know they are energetic, they have the energy and they can migrate, whether in the air, on the land, even with submarines. Those are the youth. We target them through the National Youth Service Corps scheme. We train them. When we train them, we also empower them to go into various places of primary assignment, and they reach out to the youth through what we call Catch Them Young, WorkLeft Anti-Trafficking and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants brigades. We also partner with other CSOs, for instance, OSITA, PCI, you know for sure, that WorkLeft and us were celebrating and rejoicing over a particular migrant that we're able to support and stabilize. Right now, she has just left the NYC camp and she's been posted. She's serving in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs now. And we have drummed it into her ears, understand what issue of migration is and lend your voice when it comes to that. We also work with the media, because without the media, you can't project what you're doing. We work online and offline media. We work with the traditional leaders. We understand their roles, the traditional and religious leaders. These are the people that, we are very religious people in Nigeria. If you are not a Christian, you are a Muslim. If you are not or a traditional worshiper. We know the roles they play when it comes to the issue of migration. You hear people give testimonies on the altars, and you hear ministers of God praying that you go, come back, make them. These are things we let people realize that it is not always true. The grass is not greener at the other side. It's always greener where you water it. We work with them, and we also work with school children. We sometimes do debates and competitions for children and school children to lend their voices on the issues, the push and the pull factors to migration. So all in all, I want to say that legislative advocacies and policy development and documentations are all things we carry on. For us, we believe so much in return, readmission and reintegration of migrants, and we have been working so much with the National Commission for Refugee Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. We work with NAPTIP. We work with other international organizations, especially when it comes to the issue of protection. Our shelter is one of the shelters that admit both the male and female migrants. One basic thing we should understand that the COVID-19 pandemic has thrown up a lot. So we have really stabilized and drumming and emphasizing and amplifying the issue of mental health wellness and psychosocial support that we have been doing in a very massive way now, because I'm actually a therapist and a psychologist. So we make sure that if you don't help the migrants stabilize, because there are always three phases to a migrant's life. There is who the migrant was before he migrates, what the migrant went through, and who the migrant is on return, especially when it is a voluntary return. You see that all these are issues of identity seeking. And when you don't take care of the migrants, if you don't support them, they can never be functional in the society. So in ending and rounding up, I want to say dysfunction. When you talk about individual, it becomes a personality. Dysfunction, when it comes to a family, it becomes a trait. Dysfunction, when it comes to the people, it becomes a culture. So we have to stabilize the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Ikabo. Yeah, please, without wasting much time, I'm going to move over because we have another segment. To International Minister for Migration. Please, you tell us about your organization briefly. You just have about 1 minute, 30 seconds. Tell us about your organization, what you do with migration CSOs, the activities you've carried out so far, and what you tend to do in terms of your dream, and some of the challenges you have faced since inception. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I work with the International Organization for Migration. IOM is the UN agency, lead agency on migration, works in the field of migration. IOM was established in 1951 and is committed to the aim that migration benefits the migrant and the society. IOM work with intergovernmental, governmental and non-governmental organizations, and as a UN agency, IOM works, partners with the international communities to address the issues of migrations, advance migrant issues, encourage social and economic development through migration, and also encourage the protection and well-being of migrants. And in Nigeria, IOM has been working in Nigeria since 2001, and IOM have supported the government of Nigeria in the development of migration policies and strategies, and has also engaged with, we've been working with the civil society organization, and IOM have strengthened their capacity in terms of policy implementation in the area of labor migration, border management, assisted voluntary return and reintegration. A lot has been done, and IOM has also issued grants to civil society for the implementation of this policy, because the policy without implementation is of no effect. So there's need for capacity building to be able to implement these policies. And also, like we always say, with IOM will not be here forever. We will not be here forever, so there is need to ensure sustainability of efforts that are being made in the area of, which is a challenge, in the area of migration. A lot has been done, but we need the civil society organization to scale up in terms of, like Mr. Manelo said, strengthen capacity to be able to implement policies. Because we already done that, but more needs to be done. So we're looking forward to more from the civil society in that area, and we're also looking for more effort in the area of advocacy, because there's a lot need to be done in terms of institutionalization of conventions that protect migrant workers, because we can't be talking about migration when the rights of migrant workers or Nigeria has not ratified relevant conventions that protects migrant workers. For instance, there are the Domestic Workers Convention, we have the Employment Convention on private employment agencies, and all these conventions have not been ratified. And not just ratification, we are talking about domestication and ensuring that these policies are implemented, because it is when this is done that the migrants can approach, when their rights are infringed upon, can approach the court and get, and ensure that they get redress from the court. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes, without wasting much time, we'll move to the next person. Mr. LS2, please tell us about your organization, because we have a lot to do. Quickly about your organization, what you do in relation to CSO in migration, and the challenges you face since inception, please. Brief.
Okay, my name is Alex Otu from the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. When it comes to the history of CSOs and government, specifically the National Commission for Refugees, which is the coordinating agency for migration-related activities in Nigeria. I think Mr. Wanelo, my boss, has already given us a very good overview, and I wouldn't want to overflow the issue. But it's just important for us to note that I believe that it's been a work in progress and things have been getting better consistently. CSOs have been involved in almost every area of migration management as far as Nigeria is concerned, at least since 2015. Most of the policy documents that have been developed has had the input of CSO partners at various levels. The standard operating procedure, SOP document on return, readmission, and integration has a very, very strong input from CSO partners, and their roles are clearly defined. And even in terms of practice, currently as I'm speaking to you, in terms of practice at the various levels of return, readmission, and integration, CSO partners are very, very much involved. For example, in Lagos, we have a situation where the National Commission for Refugees has entered into a partnership with the CSO, the Web of Arts Foundation, to manage the Migrant Reintegration Center. So this is a very, very beautiful example of where the CSO is working hand in hand with government to provide assistance to returning migrants. And then also even at PCI, Patriotic Citizens Initiative, at various times and various levels, we have collaborated together on different activities. Recently, the NCFRMI organized a training, capacity building and monitoring and evaluation for members of the PCI, Patriotic Citizens Initiative. So at various levels, I believe that, yes, it can always get better, but as it is now, currently, operation-wise, we are already beginning to work with CSOs, and like has already been said over and over again, this has culminated in this program that we are today, where the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has collaborated with CSO NetMed to ensure that we have an all of government and also an all of civil society approach in dealing with migration issues. So I believe that
so please, next 1 minute, please, you'll give us an overview of what you do, CSO, what you intend to do in the future, and the challenges you have. Session, please. Thank you.
The
project director of Humanity Foundation. We specialize on labor migration. We carry out evidence-based advocacy on labor migration, and we know that why people move mostly is because they need greener pasture. So we just concluded a study, assessment of protection of rights of Nigerian migrant workers in Saudi Arabia and migrant workers in Nigeria. The report was just published. And that also informed the basis of our advocacy to the MDAs that are responsible for managing various aspects of migration. And part of our vision going forward from there, because we have articulated very strong recommendation to Nigeria, we cannot be talking about migration without addressing the labor issues at home and then the ones that our migrant workers face abroad. We want to see a Nigeria that ratifies Convention 189, Domestic Workers Convention, Convention 143, Migrant Workers Convention, and specifically Convention 191. Domestic, that is the one that has to do with harassment, sexual harassment at workplace, with recommendation 206 that specifically defines what decent work is. It may baffle us that most countries, including Nigeria, has not ratified these conventions. So, and if we are not able to deal with this, we will continue to have the issues of child abuse, migrant labor abuse, and all that. So this is our vision, and we have a strategic plan that in the next 5 years going forward and going hand in hand with the agencies and with this platform of CSO NetMed, that we shall see a Nigeria that will ratify these conventions, domesticate them, and fully implement them along with partners. At the end of the day, that migrant workers, nobody will be left behind. Thank you.
Thank you. Please put your hands together for him. Yes. So the last person, Ms. Pearl, please briefly tell us about yourself, your organization, and what you do in relation to migration work.
Okay. Thank you very much, first of all, for giving me this opportunity. So my name is Pearl Odigwe. I'm the founder of Migration and Migration Alignment. It's an association based in Milan, Italy. And basically what we do is we help African migrants who come in integrate into the host community. And we basically follow 4 teams to do that. And that's learning, sharing, volunteering, and inclusion. So we know information is necessary for migrants to be able to integrate, and then sharing information around themselves. So being able to know that if you go to this particular place, you can be able to get your permesso, or if you go here, you'll be able to get some sort of support. So we basically refer migrants to associations and support systems that will help them along the way. And volunteering is also another way we try to integrate migrants, because volunteering, you get to network and you get to meet people from the host communities that you can talk about your challenges with. So that's also another way we ensure migrants are integrated into the environment. Also sharing cultural practices, for example,